welcome to another Super Not Gay episode of If This Doesn't Work, I Will Kill Myself. What up, Sean?
What's up, Justin? How
My
you doing,
guy.
What's up, bro?
My boy.
Hey, J. Cole. Shout out.
J. Cole. I like the fit, bro.
Thank you. Support your friends, bro. No matter what.
Oh, I didn't even see the support your.
Oh, yeah, that's on there.
I like the shoes more than anything. The shoes. The shoes are nasty.
Hey, you know.
Woo.
Got
The
them
Toon Squad shoes.
different joints on.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, the old whites don't know what to do about it.
No, dude.
Love it.
Old white people in flashy outfits. You know, one thing that's fun about you, it's like, you're one of the only guys I can talk to an outfit with. Like, put it like this. If I'm going somewhere, there's like a group, like I can hit you up and be like, what are you wearing to this thing? You know what I mean? I can't do that with all guys. Most is like, dude, who
What
cares?
the fuck
Queer,
you
shut the
thinking?
fuck
Yeah,
up.
right.
But you're like metrosexual enough to care.
Hey, I like it.
But,
Like to look good.
yeah.
Look
Would you
good, feel
consider
good.
you're a metrosexual?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, do you
No
know what a
big deal.
metro is?
I've heard the
What
term,
do
but
you
it's
say-
been a long
say
time.
what you- say
well,
what it
South
would be to
Park
you.
kind of covered it. I think it
Oh,
was
I didn't
South
see
Park.
it. What would you
I
say a
mean,
metro is?
Someone that's overly conscious about their appearance
Yeah,
and like
someone who
wanting to
cares
look
how they
good.
look,
Yeah,
I
basically.
just love that it has a name.
Yeah.
It's like, to care how you look is like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as negative as we think about ourselves, like I kind of need someone to boost me up a little bit and go, hey, that looks good. Like,
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, hell yeah, did
Yeah.
something
Nothing wrong
right.
with that.
Yeah, it's the one not sad thing that happens.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
someone gives
right.
you a
Like,
compliment.
hell yeah, a little boost.
That makes sense, actually.
Bro, you know what I was thinking about when on my way over here?
Dicks.
The fucking Platte.
The what?
The Platte. When we went to opening
Bro.
day.
Oh my god.
You got to tell it.
Dude, the infamous plap. I don't remember really. It's like an instance of us being drunk
Mm-hmm.
early in the day.
Very early.
Too early to be drunk, right?
We're at the fucking
Here's the excuse, ready?
the light rail for I don't know 7 a.m. when the game starts at
Yeah,
fucking
we're going
1
to
o'clock.
a game. We're going to an O's game.
Yeah,
Yeah, so any sporting event is just an excuse to, start drinking
early.
when you wake up.
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah.
We
started
What do you wanna remember?
getting after
It's
it.
just no point. It's crazy.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, it's the parking lot fills up. We're basically having a party in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And then Justin and Najee, I think they were heading to the light rail, so they're walking ahead of us for
We
a
were
little
like,
bit.
we're going. We got to go.
I don't know why it crossed my head, but I was like, you know what? I should take this big ass ice cube out of this cooler and just chuck it at Justin's back. So I did
Oh shit.
for whatever reason.
Which is not something. So look, we're all buddies. We don't play around like that with each other. We're not really
Right.
like physical like that.
Right,
So
right.
It literally is very out of character. But all
Especially for me. Like,
yeah. It was just so crazy that it went down. But go ahead. What happens?
So fucking Justin turns
He
around.
throws it. It's like in slow motion. Because by the way, I'm a little bit away.
Yeah, I had
That's
to put
another
some.
thing he
you
might
know-
want to say. Like, I'm not from me to you. I'm probably 30 yards from this. Dude.
Oh, wow.
25
Like,
yards,
So
something
yeah,
like
put some
that.
Yeah, I
velocity
put a little
on it.
umph on it for
That's
sure.
the point, right? Is there some velocity?
So he ends up turning around, smacks him dead in his face.
Dude, I turn
dead
around
in his face,
for
bro.
whatever reason, and it cracks me right in my face. And I am just like,
Where at on the face? 'Cause
I
it-
don't even remember.
Well, I think it was like the cheat.
I don't
at
even
least
remember.
the nose is.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, it was just terrible, dude. And then I had I was drunk. I was so mad. I saw red right away, and I was no longer going to the light rail. I was going towards the thrower of the ice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going right towards you through this ice, and as I'm walking, you didn't deny it. What happened? How'd it go? Oh yeah. I'm walking, and it's like I'm expecting. Yeah, I'm like power walking towards the group, and a little bit before I get to Sean, I'm like looking at you.
Oh yeah,
And
it was about to go down.
And I'm like coming for Sean, and then Sean, like I didn't know what to expect from Sean, and instead of like posturing up or denying it or doing whatever, Sean literally looked at me and gave me like a
Whatever happens, happens.
like, I
Gotta deserve
I
it.
can't reverse it. Like he was just so he knew not to even say anything. He's just like, And then I walked up and I raised my hand to like hit you,
Like punch, yeah.
and then I like slapped
Halfway
you.
through it, just slapped me in the face. Oh shit, my bad.
Yeah,
So like
it's
halfway
like-
through it, opens up the hand and just like kind of hits me.
Literally
And
in
I was
the
like, yeah, all right,
movement,
I
it
get
was
it.
weird. Yeah, it wasn't hard. It wasn't
No,
hard. It
it
was just
wasn't,
like
but it
I'm
was-
mad, and then we called it the plap.
It was
like
yeah
the punch
for the
slap.
longest time.
Yeah, we
It was
made right
fucking
up and then
hilarious.
got on the light rail together. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
My
It's something when I get hit in the
bad.
face, it was easy. It was light. But yeah, the switch up. I wasn't even mad at Sean. It's Sean. It was like if it was anybody else, I probably would have gotten a real fight that day.
And I think the whole shoulder shrug, like, yeah, I know what's about to happen.
You're owning
You know?
it. You're like, look, I didn't mean to do that. I know you don't care that I didn't mean to do it. You said all of that with the shoulder shrug.
I was like, yeah,
That's what was
yeah.
so nice. It was like the shoulder shrug said everything.
It worked. It
Hey,
was-
dude,
yeah.
I threw it and I
My
didn't
bad.
mean to throw it. You don't give a fuck. You're still mad, so you're gonna do something with that anger. That's
Oh, that
back
was
when
good.
I would. Neither one of us would do that today.
Nah,
Nah,
no,
you
no,
probably-
no, definitely not.
you probably
Ain't
throw
no way
some
I'm
ice.
throwing anything at anybody these days.
Yeah, it's because you got a fancy job now.
Hey, shout out.
Dude,
out
I
to
just heard, you
Kennedy.
know what I didn't realize, which I probably did know, but I just reheard. Tasha told me you were prom king.
Yeah, it was.
Congrats, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had
Prom
cancer,
king.
so
Hey,
like,
we got royalty. You had cancer during it?
It's a-
Oh, is it
yes.
pity king?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, were you fully bald?
yes.
At king time?
At the same
Definitely pity king.
time. Absolutely.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
Absolutely.
Dude,
That's why I usually don't say it. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I had cancer. Who else are they gonna fucking vote
Yeah,
for?
oh, dude, that's
You're a little fucked up.
Your make-a-wish was just to be prom
Just to
king?
be prom king.
Dude,
yeah,
that's
and then
sick.
it was like the same. Actually, no, sorry, it was homecoming king.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. The
Are
prom.
you sure?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess
'cause
you would be sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
the
and then
person
like
who told me.
prom was actually two people who were like married to this day
I
with
thought
children.
you were going
like,
to say more fucked up than you.
Jeff- no,
The
no.
prom was actually two people with cerebral palsy or something.
it was like I'm not gonna say like Jeff and Lindsay, like if you know you know, but they were like the ones who won prom. But I was in the prom court, but you can't win both, I think, is type of thing.
He's
I'm
like,
not, saying,
oh,
I'm
I
not
was
saying
just-
I won
He's
both.
like, I
but
basically
you
was
know,
winning
like,
too much. They had to
you know,
change
it is
change
what
the
it
rules
was.
around after I left school.
But it was crazy. Like during homecoming, like I had been I stopped doing chemo probably.
All right, well, let's back
4 or
up.
5.
Can we back up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because
good.
I didn't know you back then.
No,
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Which
Yeah.
is something else. It's like, well, as people know, I did heroin when I grew up. So a lot of my friends aren't around to talk to me. But what happens with you? You get cancer, but like, okay, I'm curious about prior to the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first inkling at all? Like you're living a fully normal, I mean, besides the gay thoughts and all that, but you're living like a mainly normal life. And then what's the first very thing that happens? And then how old are you when that happens?
So I had just turned 16. It was my junior year of high school.
Oh, okay.
It was like January-ish. I was playing that. So January was kind of when it all started, and I would get sick for 2 weeks, and then I'd be good for a little bit, and I would get sick again. But it was all like flu-like symptoms.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. What kind of sick? So you'd be like a cold, like you got a sickness.
Yeah. I was, 100. I had like 104 fevers. I was like had these night sweats, so I'd have to like change every couple of like hours after waking up. Very really fatigued and shit like that. And then I kept going, and they kept just like my pediatrician was never drawing my blood for whatever reason, and then they were just like coming up with these. It was ear infection. It was a sinus infection. It was just like all these random ass things.
So let me ask you this: it would come and go? The
Yeah.
sickness. It
Yeah,
wasn't steady.
Nope, not
Okay.
for a while there, and then I was playing lacrosse, and is this looking back now, it's a little fucked up, but like we were at practice, and I personally thought that I was putting like my everything into practice, but from the outside, it looked like I was just like walking through all the drills.
Oh, shit.
So like a couple of the guys on the team started calling me laser, like, man, he's moving like a fucking laser out there, but it was really like, no, you're actually moving like fucking.
You were
snail.
so slow that you got
Yeah.
an ironic
That I got
laser
an
nickname.
ironic nickname.
Dude, that's the
Yes.
best. Like the
Yeah.
super fat guy named Tiny.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
that exact
That was me.
thing.
That was me for sure.
That's hilarious.
And I ended up like quitting the team. It just like I didn't feel right. I was annoyed that I wasn't playing. It was like a bunch of different things. So
And you weren't playing not because of the sick. It's just because
I mean, I
you're
wasn't
a weak ass bitch.
It was probably because I wasn't as good as everybody else. On
That'll
top
do
of,
it.
On top
yeah,
of
that'll
not
do
giving
it.
the
Now,
energy.
did you play sports growing up? Like prior to that?
I played baseball like as I was real young. I played football in 7th grade, and then I started playing again in high school. And then baseball team was good, so certainly wasn't going to try that. Hadn't played in years. And then like Ray, Don, and all them, they were like, for the off season, pick up lacrosse, like, and try to go from there. So that was kind of how it started my freshman year. But
So you're getting sick.
so I'm getting sick.
You're
Yes.
going to the pediatrician. They're not drawing blood.
None of that. Yeah. So January is when it started.
Regular sicknesses
off the
though.
lacrosse. Yes.
Just like common, but like more frequently. But
Basically-
regular like severity.
Yeah. So it's basically the flu with night sweats.
Okay.
And night sweats are like supposedly like that's a good sign. Like that's a sign of it's something more. And
Yeah.
nothing ever really came from it. And then May 30, it was in April. My counts went like super low. We
Your-
finally went for like a
your
sick
like
and a pound.
vitals or readings or
My
something.
white cells and red cells, like
So,
my white cells were
okay.
at like 800
So
rather
they're
than
drawing
in the
blood to figure that
thousands.
out, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I went to one of those like not a clinic, but the
A big boy doctor as opposed to the pediatrician.
little like fast ones. You know what I
Like
mean?
an urgent
Like-
care.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so something like that. So they came in, drew my blood, did like urine sample and everything, and they just came in and was basically like, hey, go home tonight, get a good sleep, and then you should go to Hopkins tomorrow morning. You don't fucking just go to Hopkins because you have the flu.
Yeah,
So,
Hopkins. So hold on. So that's a big jump.
That was
so you're at the hospital. You're at the urgent care. I mean,
Mhm.
and you didn't spend the night there.
No.
They were
went home.
like, go home.
Yep.
Tomorrow, go to Hopkins.
Yep.
Wow.
And then we had like
Were you scared as fuck then, or not yet?
absolutely.
Oh, you were?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
Some didn't feel right.
I would bet. And then
And-
was it your mom taking you, or your dad, or both?
It was my mom, and then actually Ray's mom, Miss Pat, because
Okay.
Ray had been there for prior surgeries.
What was your mom or dad's temperament during it? Like, did it help or hurt you the way they were being? Like, were they very anxious, obviously, and worried, or like were they like solid about it?
I think they were like at the time
Or
it was
didn't
just
care
my
about
mom.
it, or
It
what?
was just my mom and Miss Pat, and they were pretty calm. You
Yeah,
know, we didn't
good.
want to like
That
jump to
helps.
anything,
Right.
which was huge. Yeah. And
But
then
you're terrified right away.
absolutely,
I don't blame you.
absolutely.
And you're
like,
also neurotic as fuck for the, you know.
and you know,
Yeah.
everything is just running.
Yeah, never
And
stops.
then you know, my dad had came up, and him and I were sitting in the room, and but no bullshit, I kind of just looked at him and was like, I don't know why they just don't come in and tell me I have cancer, because I know I do.
Whoa, why do you say that? Was that an
It was
option,
weird.
I guess?
It was, yeah, low white cells.
Okay, gotcha. So you knew, okay, right. And then you're obviously like, here's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Stop bullshitting me.
Just come in.
And yeah, because I guess, dude, the sitting in it and not knowing,
It was crazy.
that sucks so bad,
It's
right?
crazy,
Because
bro.
there's nothing you can, oh, that sucks.
And
I'd be the same way, right?
was-
Tell me
it
I'm
was awful.
dying or
Yeah.
let me the fuck out of here. Do
Exactly.
something.
Give me something.
I need
Give me
something to move
yep.
with.
Yep. And then
This is at Hopkins?
this is at Hopkins, and so they ended up coming in, and the doctor told me that she thought I had leukemia, and that we needed to, you know, I needed to be admitted into the hospital.
And leukemia is a cancer? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
That's what
Yeah.
you had?
I had.
Okay, don't keep going.
yeah.
Now. Keep going.
So then my uncle comes in, who was my mom's twin, and he was, you know, like he was in jail most of my life. You know, he sold, and fucked around, and dealt, and all the whole shit. But that was the first time I've ever seen a man cry, and that's when I was like, okay, this is probably something a little bit more
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. And you're
And-
16?
I was 16, yep. And then I was in the hospital for about a week straight from there. And
Why?
then
Because you're very sick at the time?
my cells
You're
were low,
already sick, right?
ANC, yeah, like
So you went in
everything.
there because you were sick, and that's when you were like, go get looked at, and you're still
Yeah.
feeling ill. Not just
Yep.
the diagnosis, but you're still sick.
I'm still, still
Right.
feeling like
Right.
dog shit.
Right.
And then, ended up by the end of the week, out of nowhere, like all my cells went up, and so I was able to leave. So I ended up leaving, and we had no
Without
answers.
a diagnosis?
Yep, nothing.
What?
So then from that point on, I
They're
was
like,
no-
it's not broken anymore. What do you want me to do? It's like when I go look at a job and the light's on, and they're like, sometimes it goes out. Well, it's on right now.
Well, it looks fine to me. Yeah.
Let me know when it goes out. I'll check on it.
But it was so it was basically like that. Like I went back home, but I couldn't go to school anymore because my ANC was real low, which is like how you fight viruses
your
and shit
what?
like that. ANC.
Okay, so that's your some type of
Yeah,
system.
yeah,
Something
yeah,
system.
something
Nervous
to protect
system.
your body. Yeah. And I can't think of the actual term of it, but yeah. So like I went home, wasn't able to go to school, so I was kind of just like chilling, doing some homeschool shit, and then May 30th of 2000.
So hold on. So you couldn't be around other people.
Mm-hmm.
That seems extreme,
Very
right? That's going
Very.
from like I'm sick to like yeah, can't be around other people.
Mm-hmm.
And not because you could get them sick, because they could kill you by
Exactly.
looking at you or something.
Just any type of thing would turn into 10 times worse than whatever they were.
Right.
having.
So how long does that go on?
So that was going
And
on.
do you have video
basically-
games?
Yeah, I think
What
I
are you
did.
doing in there? Just jerking off and eating?
Well, I was home at that point, so I
Right.
was just kind of just like chilling. Yeah,
jerking
still,
off and eating.
No, honestly, we'll get to that. That was crazy. 'cause,
Okay,
like,
good.
The
I'd
other
love
day,
to.
the last time you were talking about like how long has it been since? What's the longest you went jerking off? I think I heard off.
Long
on
as
one-
you went
one of-
without jerking off?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things I heard on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm
We'll-
sure.
We'll go back.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I ended up going to a specialist because it ended up not being leukemia, and I had like typically with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is what I had, or have, they lymph
You said
nodes.
have?
Yeah, so this is a type of cancer that
Like-
really doesn't go into remission. It's either just active or non-active.
Right.
So, but it's also one of the easier cancers, which is what a blessing I got. And then,
Lucky you.
yeah, right. But they, come back on the May 30th or whatever. The specialist is digging in my shoulder. He ends up finding like a lymph node buried
He's
underneath.
moving his fingers around
Yeah. All the lymph nodes under your
while you're
arms,
awake. He's
groins.
not inside you. He's
No,
poking
he's just
around.
trying to poke around
Okay,
and find
interesting. All over your body?
one.
Or were you sore there or what?
No, honestly, no. It was.
Okay.
I think that spot was shining on like the PET CT
Got
scan.
it. So there was
Something was
something
there.
to pay attention to, and they
So they went through like my arms
started
and
fingering
everything.
the dividend here.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of that someday that week, it was like a Friday, I think, and I was chilling in my room, listen to music, playing my video games or whatever, and
Do you remember the music?
Eminem.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I can't think of the album
That's
right now.
fine.
It's the
Just-
Black
it's
and
nice
Gray
to know
album.
that you remember it.
Where
Yeah.
I think it's like a picture of his house or whatever.
Marshall
Marshall Mathers
Mathers
LP.
LP.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
That was so
And then
good.
he,
It was.
like, she comes in and
Shaped
she's
me.
crying. You know, like it's.
Your mom comes in
Mm-hmm.
crying
Yeah.
prior to saying anything about what's going on.
Yeah. From the moment.
Mm.
And
Was your
then-
dad with her?
No.
Nah. So it was just her. She walks in.
She
You got Cheetos dust all over your finger,
She's
dude. You've been
telling me-
sitting in
she's
your
just
filth
telling
for a
me,
couple
like,
days.
She's like, so it's been, it's been confirmed you have cancer. We have to start. It's aggressive, so we have to start.
Damn, dude. Hearing the words aggressive are frustrating there.
Because at first, when I was diagnosed, it was just Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 1, and 2 weeks later, when I had another surgery done, and my blood counts were different, it was stage 4B. So it basically went from a 85-90% survival rate to a 60-65% survival rate.
Yeah.
So it was just a little bit
And
more
that's
aggressive.
quick.
Very quick.
Yeah.
So they just hit me with a lot really quick, really bad.
So she tells you you got it.
Mm-hmm.
You go in. God, I just can't imagine. So you're 16 or 17 with the diagnosis.
16.
16 still, right? You hear that,
Mm-hmm.
and to try to have to to even know how to process that, right?
Challenge.
You don't even. I mean, you don't even know how to process it, right? I guess the first things I ask or would be asking are like, what are my chances?
Mhm.
What's the survival rate? I'd be neurotic about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, cancer runs in my family, but everyone died from it. So then it's even, I don't have like any survivors of cancer.
Everyone
in
who
my
had
family.
it.
Everyone in my family. Yeah.
Did they?
Well, at
Okay.
least that I had known.
Right.
So like at that point, it was just like, oh, so I'm fucking dying.
Yeah, I'm one of the ones that
I'm
got
gonna be
picked
one
to
of the
die.
unlucky ones. And truthfully, like I wasn't too upset about the diagnosis because, like, crazy enough, like I really did kind of like know that deep down that I felt that was what it was, and I honestly didn't get too upset until they were telling me like there was a chance I'd never be able to have kids, and that was where it kind of like fucked me up a little bit because for one, I didn't ask for this, and for two, I fucking love kids.
You could buy one on Wayfair, I think.
We can always adopt, right?
Yeah.
But that didn't come into my head, like in the
No,
moment,
of
I'm just
course,
like,
of
oh
course.
fuck, like.
But you weren't worried about you dying?
Not really, honestly.
Good.
No, it didn't really feel like that, and I would call myself a pretty easy patient. Like, you tell me what I need to do, what you want me to do, and I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm 16 years old. I'm not ready to fucking leave this earth. So whatever
Right.
I gotta do is whatever.
So
I
what
gotta
was the
do.
plan? Chemo?
Just aggressive chemo. Yeah. So I started chemo the next week. And
How's that work?
They call it a cycle. So I think I had 8 cycles. So the first week you get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday chemo. Monday and Tuesday it's for 8 hours.
So what is chemo when you're getting it?
Poison, but it's through an IV.
Okay, so
basically.
it's an IV. It's going right into your veins.
Yeah, so-
it's not the same as radiation.
No. So I had a port put in on my chest, which is like a connect right to the heart.
Yeah, I met a
So-
kid. Yes,
So that way it goes in. Yeah, very much so. It's just fucking. It feels like an actual cork in your chest, but
That's kind of and then
it's just
poke it.
faster. Gets
Yeah,
to your
they
body
find
real
it right
quick.
away, and
Yeah.
it's
So
like a high line, like a highway.
yeah, exactly. So like Monday, Tuesdays they were 8 hours. That Wednesday was 5 hours. The following week I would come back for Monday, Tuesday, and they were about 4 to 6 hours. And then the third week I'd be off.
What do you 4 to 6 hours? You're not just getting the IV the whole time, are
The
you?
whole time.
Do you feel it going in you?
No, but you're watching it, you
Right.
know, and it's got to go in slow, or else there's other things that can happen. So the third week is when you're supposed to have like your break, but what happens is that's when all your blood cells get low. So
do you feel it at all? You're not when you're in there. You don't feel it. When you go home, you don't feel it. Do you notice you're getting it?
for the chemo?
Yeah.
No, not really. Honestly, like some of them, there was at one point like I had some really awkward like side effects, and that was when it was getting a little crazy.
Right.
Like my body would just twitch. I felt like I had to always be moving,
Interesting.
or else like it was almost like restless leg syndrome. It was something like that.
Right.
So that third week, everything drops, and then if you have a fever above 100.5, you got to go to the hospital.
Well, let me ask you this: are you sick during the chemo?
Honestly, no.
Or you really?
No,
So
you
you're
know,
not even be going through the sickness at that time. You're just no,
there
it's
was,
in you. And, it's
and there
gonna
was
come
some
back.
things like I couldn't eat. So like seafood for me was what made me sick. So I didn't really eat honestly anything except for chicken nuggets because that was the only thing I was ever really craving. Oddly enough,
Shout out to
it
Kyle.
was just hey, shout out. But yeah, so I was just like kind of just eating these random things, and seafood I found out was like what was making me sick. So then like I had to stay away from that in the summertime. And in Maryland, that's kind of hard to do as in general. But yeah, so after those times, I would go into the hospital and would be there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The longest I spent was 3 months straight.
Why?
Yeah, bro.
Why? Literally, why?
Because I at one point
This just sounds like so long. Like, what are they up to?
It was a crazy year for sure. But like I had
And
to
that's
have
your
a lot of
16?
surgeries. Yeah. Because my birthday's in December, so like I had just turned 16.
Right.
But yeah, I had like a staph infection in my nose, and that was after my first round. So first round of chemo comes with like a lot of jaw pain, so like I couldn't really talk real loud. So I would always put my hands like this to kind of like echo my voice, and the MRSA underneath my fingernails got into my nose. So then it spread all the way out to my whole face. My nose was shifted. So they were trying to give me like a bunch of antibiotics from there, and nothing was working. So eventually they cut into it with the little.
Jesus,
little
during
scar
all
right
the cancer thing, the staph infection is a completely unrelated thing.
Well, it was related
Because your weak immune
because
system.
my immune system was so down.
That was
and
a word we couldn't get earlier.
I know.
Fucking retarded.
Hell yeah.
Immune system. Come
Shout
on,
out
guys.
to you.
It's like,
But they, so they cut it to drain it, and then we find out that there's actually nothing in there. It was just swelling, so it was basically a scar for nothing. But they were kind of able to get whatever was left over inside there. It was just so close to the eye that they didn't want to play any games.
right. Well, if it was nothing, it had to be something.
Yeah. I mean,
It
was
nothing
MRSA. That
bad.
was,
Yeah,
but
right.
there was just nothing to be drained, and then.
Right.
I ended up having another staph infection on my right leg on the outside. Started as like an ingrown hair, and then they did like
I got
some
one from a spider
cultures.
bite once.
Dude, it was nuts. I mean, I have like half my fucking bone shaved off right there because it was
Really?
attached to the bone. And
Jesus.
crazy thing, another great story about that as I'm going through chemo, it was they did some cultures on it or whatever, nothing came back, so they were like, okay, you can go home. We get home, my mom goes grocery shopping because we hadn't been home in 3 weeks or so. And my mom and I were sharing a cell phone at that time. So the doctor calls me and was like, hey, we need you to get back here as fast as you can. That's actually a type of staph, and if we wait too long, it's going to get to your main bloodstream and it will kill you. So I'm sitting in our kitchen / living room, just like waiting for my mom to get home, right? Like probably the longest 30 minutes of my life, if that's even how long it takes. And I'm just fucking pacing back and forth. And she pulls up. I opened the door. I was like, we got to get to the hospital. They said I could die. She's throwing the fucking groceries like into the front yard. My brother and I are like running them back and forth. Didn't even put them away. We just fucking got in the car, and we had like a go bag, right? Like
Make
something
sure you
like
get
the
them bagel bites in the freezer.
Yeah, right. And those like when your wife's pregnant and you're approaching that, you have this go bag. So we had that. So everything was always right there. We were just ready to go. So threw that in the car. I go back. They ended up taking it off, but they had to scrape some of my bone off because it was just attached to it. So it was, yeah. So that was another one of the crazy stories on top of chemo and everything else that was going on.
Yeah. Then you lost your hair.
Lost the hair, and that was for about.
How fast did that start happening?
That was probably.
As soon as they tell you have cancer, it starts coming out.
Yeah, from the stress, absolutely.
Right.
But like from the chemo, that was probably. It had to be less than a month.
So I mix up chemo and radiation often, I guess. 'Cause I'm thinking, doesn't radiation make your hair fall out?
It can. I think it depends
chemo and
on.
radiation have like a Venn diagram, right? They like
They come together.
Both. Yeah,
right.
not always, but they can.
Yeah, and like the radiation typically comes afterwards, or if you're not doing chemo, you can just do straight radiation. But that's usually because you found it early enough, so it's not as big. They can kind of target an area and just hit like that exact spot. Now I only had a week of chemo. I was supposed to have longer.
A week to?
Oh, sorry, not a week. A week of radiation.
Oh, okay.
So I was only supposed to. I wasn't originally. I was supposed to have like a whole treatment with radiation, but my blood counts were so low that they just let it go.
Chemo.
Yeah, so we just stuck with that. But I still have the fucking triangle that you get tattooed on you because that's where they line it up the whole time. So I got like these 3 green dots randomly on
Really?
my. Yeah, or as Shumei likes to call Illuminati, dickhead. But but yeah, so like radiation is what it was, but the chemo was really where like a lot of the damage came from, and it was a pretty long year. It was just crazy to think about, but I think I was just determined at that point.
Right.
I was far too young to be able to like think about not being here.
Yeah.
Are you going to high school through that whole thing? Like
I was for the beginning of my junior year there, I was there for the first 2 semesters, and then I was homeschooled from my 3rd semester of my junior year. All the teachers were like, the principal was just like, give him the grades that he had on his second semester. Got a lot going on his plate. Let's just pass him over.
Yeah.
So all my teachers basically gave me the same grade except for one who gave me a D, said I didn't deserve the grade that I got. So
Jesus.
shout out to her. But so
God.
for the first 2 semesters of my senior year, I was homeschooled. And then halfway through the third semester, I was able to come back. So then I ended up coming back from like half of the third marking period and the fourth marking period.
And then they gave him Pity King.
Pity King.
Pity
yeah.
Homecoming
So
King.
how did you have to tell everyone like why you were like all of that, or did something like did your parents tell the school
and
to
you
tell
were
everyone?
you were popular, right? Like I heard you had friends and shit.
We had
like,
good friends. Yeah, I mean, it was
so-
basically the same group we have now, but in high school. We
I just
had known each
imagine
other
them on
since
the
seventh grade.
main speaker, like Sean Richenberg has cancer.
Did you graduate with him like 08?
I graduated 2009.
09, okay.
Yeah. So, but I think some of my friends knew, but I don't think a lot of them did. But when the first day of senior year came around, I was determined to be there for the first day. Because like that's your last first day of high school.
Yeah.
Right? So like
Yeah.
I was
That's
determined.
sentimental.
I wanted to do it so bad.
I love that.
And I was good all the way up until like 2 days before it. And then I had a fever, so I ended up having to go to the hospital. And it didn't come down enough and my counts didn't go up enough, so unfortunately I wasn't able to make it. But what they did is they have a specialist there called a child life specialist. And what they do is basically make your life just a little bit easier while you're in there. They got video games, they got music, they have movies, everything you could possibly
That's
want.
every kid's favorite person there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
Which is
sure.
the reason why I'm in school for the reason in child life
Right.
for now. If it wasn't for her, I don't know what I would have done.
It was a woman.
It was a woman, and she was
Child
also
life?
a cancer survivor. So when she came in and was telling me, like, I know what you're going through. If you have any questions, I know it's
Was she
sometimes
hot?
it's easier. Yeah, she was attractive. I think just like knowing that she knew what I was going through made it more comfortable.
Definitely. And she's there to help. She's there to be like, and that's the thing is knowing that you've been there, you know? I remember when I'd be in rehabs, like not physical rehabs, but like, the fun ones. I would hate hearing from somebody who you could tell didn't know.
Exactly.
It's like, I understand that you're trying to help, but if you don't know, it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear each other and see each other. So
I'm not going to be able to trust you with everything.
yeah. It's like, yeah.
But yeah, so where were we at? Child life specialist. Yeah, so it was the first day of school or whatever, or right before the first day of school. They knew that I wasn't going to be able to make it, so they were trying to
They
come
brought
in.
the school into your
They were-
hospital.
Oh, that's kind of right.
one at a time. The class walks by.
So they were like, well, what do you think about writing a letter or sending in a video and like having the school watch it? And I was like, nah, fuck that. I want to be there. Fuck this shit. But then, hours go by and I'm just like kind of thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? A video will be cool. I'd like to do that. So they actually I still have a picture of it. I should find it one day.
If you find it, we can put it in post here.
Actually, I got it on my fridge. I'll send a picture.
Just add and work.
So they
That's fine.
they were like, do you want to make signs? Do you want to do this? And I didn't want any part of that, right? So I was like, no, like if you guys want to make them, you can. I don't want to. So they basically were like, made like a Go Seniors sign. They made a Northeast football sign, like the whole thing. And I basically just like sat in a chair and had like my football, like we had like these football sweats and shirt. So I wore those and, was basically just, telling everyone I said hi and, miss you guys and hope that I can come back soon and see you all soon or whatever. And when they played that video at school, my phone just blew up.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people who didn't know and I didn't really think about it. And they were
Were you bald in the video?
Yeah.
Oh, that's shocking to not know what's going on in a bald video of you come out.
Uh-huh. And like what I really was hoping was be able to like release that video and then come out on stage. And like just be able to just be there in person and
Right.
and feel that love because kind of fucking needed it at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But I had a lot of support from friends, and after that I had a lot of people who would like come up and visit and shit. And like Ray and Leone, they came up one time like during the summer. They were about to go away to football camp, and they were like like we just want like come say hi, see you one last time before we go into camp or whatever. And I said yeah, but it took a little bit of convincing. I didn't really want people to see me in that frame, but But yeah, so they ended up coming up, and I guess I had like just had some of my medicine, so I was asleep for most of the time that they were there.
Yeah.
But I woke up and they were fucking coloring pictures and hanging them up in my room. So I just had like a bunch of these fucking like crayon colored pictures all over the room.
Oh,
I think they're both still practicing getting in the line.
It was hilarious to wake up to. Like it was funny to see everybody, but it was cool, man. I had a lot of support. My mom is incredible. Like,
Squad.
yeah, that gets to me a little bit. But,
yeah.
Good. It should. In a good way, right?
mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know? There's this really negative connotation to crying, but it's like...
Yeah, it feels good.
That's beautiful, you know?
It's got to come out. But,
yeah.
you know.
Or you can come it out.
Yeah, she's something special. Sometimes use both. Use the tears.
At the same time. I actually don't come without crying. I weep every time I come.
What's the fucking thing that you were doing?
Which one?
The would you rather...
Would you rather
The
fully
yawn?
shit?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you. Would you rather fully shit every time you come or fully piss every time you yawn?
I would rather piss.
Yeah.
No matter what, right?
Yeah,
it's like-
absolutely. Because at least if I feel a yawn coming on, I can try to run somewhere real quick. But I don't really yawn too often, so I guess that would probably be the
yeah,
one.
that's
I'd
what
roll
people
with.
said. Is like they don't yawn enough, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'd rather just do that.
Right. You're coming more than you're yawning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
gotta be.
It all adds
Depends on how much you're yawning. Yeah. Let me ask you this: if your dick was in your mom
up.
halfway,
Oh, God, no, that's what I got.
and your dad's dick was halfway in you, and you had to go forward or backward to get out, what way would you go?
That's such a fucked question. I certainly don't want anything near my ass, so I guess I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and go forward.
Gonna have to go
Yeah,
forward.
okay.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to go forward.
just trying to think.
Also,
of
she
something
was
else.
there.
dude.
She was there for him.
I went backwards.
Also, she supported him. through
Oh,
no! You know. So yeah, shout out to moms.
Shout out to them all.
Yeah.
Special ones. You know what's crazy though is like all of our friends. Like if you really like take a look at them, we all got some pretty fucking good moms.
Yeah.
Like I know there's a few
Ladies make
you
the world go
that would
round,
say
you know?
otherwise, but shout out to all the moms, man, doing all the work.
Mm. They do a lot.
Absolutely.
You ever had a wet dream?
This is that conversation. So yes, in the hospital
oh shit.
because I went a year without jerking off while I was
What?
going through chemo.
No way.
That was never on my mind whatsoever.
For a full year?
full year.
Fuck.
And then didn't know what any of that really was because I wasn't in that class yet. Like that was a class that you took like your junior, senior year.
class?
The health class that teaches you.
You
Like
know
about,
how to jerk off. They don't teach
yes,
you in school.
but I didn't know like wet dreams. Like I
Oh,
wasn't
got
familiar
you.
with that.
Got you.
So,
I
like-
thought you meant that's why you weren't jerking off because you didn't learn about
No,
it. Like, what,
yeah,
bro?
no. I had
Like, no one taught me.
experienced that quite a bit
Yeah.
prior to that.
Right.
But
You're just
yeah.
so anti-horny for a year.
there's so much on the mind. Like I never once thought about it.
Damn.
But yeah, I fucking had a wet dream in the hospital. Right. So you wake up and you're like, I just cummed all in my fucking boxers. My mom's in the room, like laying on a couch bed next to me.
Yeah.
And I got these smoking hot nurses who were coming in at all times.
Uh,
Bro, I had to stand up with the 47 wires that were attached to me. I had to unplug them so everyone's coming in. What's going on? You know?
yeah, making a
I'm just like,
scene.
no, I just got to go to the bathroom or whatever. So I fucking get in there and I just obviously saw what the fuck happened. So I just like filled up. I put my underwear in the sink and just filled up the water and just let it like sink. Like just let
Yeah,
it sit
like
there.
you were in prison watching some shit.
It was crazy. I was
Do you remember the dream?
no.
Nah, it'd be sick
No.
though, wouldn't it?
No,
Yeah,
I do
don't
remember that it
mine
had.
either.
I was having sex. I just didn't. I don't remember like
Maybe your
who it
dick
was,
halfway
what it
in
was,
your
where it
sack.
was.
Honestly,
Like,
the real question is whether or not you made a noise when it happened. Because other people were in the room, right?
my mom, yeah,
Dude,
absolutely.
yeah. So, like, did it come out silently? No one knows because you're asleep at that point. So someone would have to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens with a wet dream.
Yeah, he
You
could
sorta
be. He
like,
could be acting it out. He could be like, yeah,
Dude, right? And it's just like,
Could you
fuck.
fucking imagine? Oh, that would have been awful.
That
but
would
like,
be worse.
Shawnee,
I don't think so.
Shawnee, not the imaginary dicks again.
And if she didn't, she was a trooper. She sure
Yeah.
didn't let
Never
me know
said
she was
shit
awake.
about
Nope.
it. Good.
You did have a
Uh-huh.
girlfriend at the time?
Nah.
Mm.
That was out of the question. I mean, I was probably texting a few chicks here and there, but
Do you think that consciousness is a byproduct of the biological functions of the brain, or do you think that there's like something more to consciousness, like a soul or like a something
in which
bigger?
way? Got to break that down a little bit for me.
I'm just saying, like, do you think that the reason we're conscious, that we have consciousness,
Okay.
right, which is like to know what it is to be us,
Mhm.
to think like we do you think that that's just a product of like scientific chemical processes that are happening in the brain?
Mhm.
Or do you think like basically if I took the human being out of it and took the brain, do you think that it still has consciousness? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think
Do you think consciousness ends at life? Is that what you're saying? Like
No,
once
but
you kind of went.
I'm
like-
just curious if you think that there's more to it than just the science behind it. Do you believe in God?
No. But I'm not gonna. I like to say that I believe in like a higher power.
Right.
But I also think that when we preach and when we are, praying or doing any of those things, I think that is subconsciously something that we're trying to say to ourselves.
Uh-huh.
And
Some people say the highest version of you is that God, right?
Yeah.
Not that you're God, because that sounds crazy.
Yes.
But just like the highest version of you,
Is
one
you.
that you
Yep.
would never achieve, right? But yeah, sometimes it's like that. Yeah, I've heard that too. That's an interesting thought.
And I think it just makes things a little bit easier because, I mean, if we really think about it, like how many times do you think that you've preached something to someone and then thought about it later or whatever, and you're like, damn, I should probably take my own advice. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that is the reason why it comes out the way that it does.
Yeah, I think that my friend Destiny, she has this theory that like I'm gonna have her on too to talk about it because she's more she could say it better than me, but that basically everyone you're talking to is you, or like you said, the advice that you're given that you're like I should probably take that advice. Like she's like everyone is like a different version of the same thing, which is the universe, right?
Yep.
Like we're all the same thing and connected to the subconscious. So like all these messages that you're giving or getting are like you talking to you, basically. You know?
Yeah, I definitely believe that, and I think it's I think it's good to have someone or something that you're able to kind of talk to or relieve that stressor or whatever. And
It's
rather if
definitely
a
good for
friend or stuff-
comfort.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to if someone believes in God. Like if that's what you believe in and that's what helps you get through life,
Yeah,
so be it.
for
right?
sure.
Like we all need.
Or if
a
you have
reason or
whatever
something.
reasons they have, you
Mhm.
know? It's just funny when I say, like, do you believe in God? People know which God I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You know?
that one white guy.
Yeah, it's not like which God. You know how many
Yeah,
gods there are? But, you know, around here in Western society, like, do you believe in God? It's like the Christian God.
And like I grew
Got a
up
chokehold.
going to church. Like, like
Same.
we lived in a city. Like,
But not molested. Did you get molested?
I did not.
Mm.
Shout out. Got lucky.
Shout out to everyone who didn't molest me as a kid.
Pause. They but so like we grew up in there. My grandmother still to this day is big preacher on the Lord. For whatever she thinks that she's so holy that if she licks her fingers and rubs a cross on your forehead, it's okay. Like she's that kind of holy
It's okay.
person. But we like we fuck with her real, like when she's talking about the priest, we're like, oh yeah, Father Thickfinger, I remember him. Like remember him,
Father Hawk Tua.
but yeah, no, I never was molested, but I did started having sex at a very young age.
Why do you think that is?
We discovered a book.
Who's we? You and your friends?
It was a girl in the neighborhood.
Oh, you and a girl
Mm-hmm.
discovered a book?
Yeah, it was like
It sounds like a fucking fairy tale.
It was like
What is
it
this
was like
magical
Tell me
book?
more.
Like it's Jumanji or what? The fuck?
it was like a sex book that was like, this is what you're supposed to do, and this.
Like,
happens
so is
and
it
this happens.
like a porno mag?
No, it was like an
Informational,
Was it a
educational
hardback?
sex book?
I think it was, honestly.
Holy
I think
shit.
it was a hardback. I
Questions.
really don't.
Holy
I can't
shit.
remember. I just remember discovering the book, and the next thing you know, I was having sex at elementary school.
That's
Oh,
crazy
yeah, okay.
that you
Fuck.
found a book.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do this.
And this is so. I
You think one of your
this
parents
came up
gave
in
it to you
therapy. No, she found it in her parents' room.
Wow.
But it was
Weird. Maybe they were planning on giving it to her when she's old enough.
they were just saving.
So they
it
don't
for-
have to do
They
the
wrote
talk.
a nice little note on the first
yeah,
page.
you finally made it. You know? Most people don't want to have to talk with their kids because
No,
they feel
no.
uncomfortable.
And
That's
I-
what the selfish part is. It's because the parent feels uncomfortable having to talk.
Yeah, I mean, no one gave me that talk.
No, of course, no one
You know?
does. It's like when I
No.
asked my sister. Yeah, no, I asked my sister. I'm like, did my mom say it to you? She's like, no way.
Hell no.
They don't ever do. Yours neither.
Hell
It's like
no.
That's literally crazy that we're. I don't know. I just would rather them hear it from me than the guy down the street who's trying to get fuck them anyway.
Yeah.
If you have a daughter, or a son, or whatever it is.
And I like.
So you're
I-
elementary school fucking.
I never admitted it, bro, until probably last year.
Really?
I was a year into therapy, weekly therapy.
Oh, good. You've been doing therapy
Every Friday.
for real?
Yep. Hey, got to do better to be better.
Yeah.
So-
Well, it's fake and you're wasting your money, but I do it too.
It's all a glitch in the matrix, anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
They
You got it.
yeah. So I talked about it then in therapy, and then
Just having sex really young, and it was just you two, not over with a adult supervisor or influencer.
no one
Wow.
knew. No one knew.
Just two little freaks.
just
Two little
people
consensual freaks.
having no clue what's going on.
Right.
But
I
so
wonder
if
if
you're,
you're even
ever
deriving
wondering, you
sexual
can get
pleasure.
hard in elementary school.
You do?
You can get hard in
I
elementary
was
school.
I was wondering
Turns out.
if you were deriving pleasure from it, or you
It
just
was
knew that you
something.
were supposed to be doing it. It was something.
Dorian was the second person I ever told, which is my fiance. Shout out to Dorian.
Shout out to Dorian. We love Dorian around here.
But yeah, she was the first person I ever told, which made it a little bit more comfortable for me to kind of express it
Mm-hmm.
and also understand why it was always on my mind for so long.
Yeah.
Like that was all I ever really thought about kind of growing up.
Sex.
Yeah.
Right.
It just took over.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna grow out of that one day.
God, I kind of hope so, but don't at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was something.
That is interesting to be like that sexual at such a young age, I guess.
Yeah. It just distorts everything. You're like that innocence of being a child is kind of
Yeah.
no longer there.
Yeah, it's ripped away from you.
Yeah. Even though it was our own doing, right?
Yeah.
We didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Well,
at
that's the
same
thing,
time.
dude. You can get fucked up from something or have effects from something, not just get fucked up. But, you can have effects from things that seem benign. You know what I mean? That don't seem harmful at the time. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not some nefarious thing where someone's trying to hurt you. It's just well, this happened, and because of that, this.
This is exactly.
It's not like anyone's in trouble or wrong.
And as a kid, you want to do adult stuff.
Oh,
At
yeah.
least that was me. I just, all the things you couldn't do,
Right.
that was what you were interested in. And it was just, I don't know.
It's all the things you couldn't do. Exactly.
And it's it's much easier now, right? Now that having a professional kind of talk to you about the situation and being this can cause
It's your
this,
fault.
or-
You should be shameful.
Yeah, you're fucked forever now.
Yeah, you're ruined.
No pun intended. But it it just made it a little bit easier, and I do enjoy getting it off my chest, because there are times where I just keep it in or whatever. Obviously, situational awareness, but it's everyone knows now. But it was it was just one of those things.
But there's power in that.
in being able to admit it.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
Because it's it doesn't have power over you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's the different framing of it. Where you're I'm a victim to this thing, to where it's well, whatever I am, it happened.
Yep.
And here it is.
Here we are.
It can't come back and hurt me. It happened.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. No one's not going to fight. It's this weird fear that we have.
Mhm.
We won't be accepted into
Exactly.
the tribe type
The
thing.
judge. That's
It's
gonna come from it.
epigenetics. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's in our system to not be, we don't want to get cast out from the tribe. We'll die and starve out there, get eaten by a saber tooth. They say it goes that far back though,
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
need to feel comforted there, our need to people please and to do whatever, and to but good for you, man. There's a lot of power in the vulnerabilities. Now, a lot of people are why bring up old trauma, right?
Mhm.
Why keep ruminating on this same thing? If your life's good now, why not? And it's well, no, there's a difference
Yeah.
in ruminating and in being oh, this is my now crutch for everything.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
it's
right.
oh, I'm sorry, Dorian, that I fucking fucked your sister. I was when I was a kid, I had sex young.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? Or
Yeah.
it's oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do the dishes for the 7th week in a row. My dad yelled at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's if
He
you're
never let me
using,
do the dishes.
yeah, it's just people we throw it anywhere.
Yes.
Um,
and this ain't an excuse.
Right.
For me, it's a better understanding of probably why I was the way I was when I was
And
younger.
that helps.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it. Because I have a lot of guilt about some of the things that I did in the past and the way that I treated people, and kind of took people for granted or whatever way it was. But it just
And also,
kind of helps that guilt go down.
well, yeah, because it goes further than that. You were guilt about that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You were raised Catholic or Christian or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Went to the church thing, so that shit's bad. You know.
Yeah.
You just know that's a sin, that's bad, that's whatever. So it's guilt and shame is built into a lot of the religions, because then
Oh,
you need
yeah,
the Savior's help, you know what I mean, to get out of that.
Yeah.
But it does put it in your head to where that guilt that is latent in you from that situation when you were young, if you never figure that out, you'll still operate from a place of guilt.
Yeah.
Yep. I find myself operating from a place of guilt when I've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's are you mad at me? What's going
Yep.
on? Fucking.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, what did I do? I know I've done something. It's I'm just waiting for the cards to fall and I'm in trouble again.
Yeah.
It's I always just feel in trouble or guilty. But yeah, I think going back and figuring out what that is does help you understand it yourself,
Yeah, absolutely. It does make it. I don't know. Just makes me feel normal, I guess.
Right.
I always felt like I was having these cravings much more than others. Even if we were in middle school, like joking around, like I felt like mine was a little bit more serious in a way.
Right.
In a way. But I mean, that was a long time ago. But it does, it is what it is. It does make things feel a little bit better and just kind of understand. But we're
it's
able to
nice
move
to
forward.
understand it and then
Yeah.
continue to move forward, like you said. So what do you do for work? You work with the kiddos now?
So yes, but I work with adults now too. So I got a promotion earlier this year, so I'm our clinical service coordinator and lead rehab tech. So basically, I train our techs and our summer works programs, who are people coming in that have a break in college and are interested in the field. So we hire them for the summer, so that way they can get some hands-on experience.
Right.
So training them, and then I take care of all the equipment. If anything is broken or if I need to call someone, I'm kind of the point person for that location.
Right.
Take care of inventory and all that type of stuff as well.
So it's like a rehabilitation place, or it's a place for surgery, or what?
It's a rehab place. So we work basically with anyone who has a spinal cord injury. But for us, typically like you'll go see this therapist for X amount of time and then you move on, and but we keep our patients coming. Like there's a chance that they're always going to need more. So we just keep them coming back. Now obviously we have new people, but we don't ever push anyone out and saying like you're not coming back or you're not welcome, right? Like when a lot of places tell you you're never going to walk again, you'll never hear those words at our place. And I think that that's why everyone continues to come the way they are, and that's why we're able to do the things that we do. But I now work at in Maple Lawn, like Fulton, Maryland, instead of the Baltimore location. When everyone was furloughed, we were trying to open up this new place that I'm at, and they were able to kind of like speed the process up a little bit because no one was really working, so all the focus could go onto that.
Right.
So when that happened and when that place came back up, they started letting people come back, and then they came to me and were asking like, how would you feel about going down to this location?
How far of a drive is that for you? Like an hour?
30 minutes with no traffic,
Nice.
But typically 45 to an hour on the way home, especially now with the bridge.
Traffic's terrible.
That's fucking insane. But yeah, so like we'll have kiddos, we have adults, and it's a good mix. I personally prefer to work with the kids. As an insecure person, I enjoy the honesty of a child. Like they're going to tell you what the hell they got on their minds, and 10 times out of, let's say, 12, it's fucking hilarious.
Right.
So I just enjoy being able to have a conversation, even though if it is with a child, and like I don't feel like I have to pretend. I can be like this outgoing, the quirky person that I am, and then not feel like I'm being judged by an adult.
Right.
Like it sounds crazy. But
No, it doesn't. I mean, I get it. It's like it's just more, like you said, it's more honest.
Mhm.
All the niceties and political correctness and the, you're supposed to do. It's like that's all kind of put on.
Yeah.
Everything, but like, I don't know. Our true nature is animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like this brutal, aggressive animal, and it's like we're being civilized. It's nice to be like, yeah, that shit's dumb, this food sucks, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
It's everyone's trying to be polite all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like that politeness comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's like, who's going to tell me the thing? No one's really wanting to say the thing.
Yep.
Whatever the
Just
thing is.
keep it sheltered in. Yeah. No one wants to make anything like difficult or uncomfortable, but sometimes you need uncomfortable in order to grow. So
yeah, it's just the same thing
you
all
gotta
the
do it.
time, like the niceties and shit.
But I started going back to school 4 or 5 years, maybe 4 years ago at this point. So I've been going to CCBC, and it's all part of a program that we have at work, Pathway to Higher Education program. So it's basically people who maybe have some college or zero college experience, giving them the opportunity to go to school where we have tuition reimbursement, where I would have to pay and then they would reimburse me. They flipped it. So with this program, they take care of it first, and then if you fail, you have to pay them back.
Nice.
Which, you don't really have to go into the student debt of like, I couldn't afford a tuition up front.
Right.
So, but like I still have to
fail.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
And like still have to, but I still have to work full time. So I typically go in the mornings, and I now just work 4 10-hour shifts. So that way I'm able to like get some of the work done and stuff like that.
4 10s is nice.
So nice.
Dude, my work offers 3 12s. Friday, Saturday, Sunday though.
Oh, fuck that.
I know it's every
God,
Friday.
that sucks.
Saturday,
That
Sunday.
that is that
That's
would
how
be
they get
sweet.
you.
Yeah.
But it's 36 hours. It pays for 40. Not bad.
Damn.
Dude, I got in a car
Damn.
accident.
Yeah.
Showed
Glad
you
to
that.
see you're okay. That's
I'm
fucking
good.
insane.
I'm great. The fucking car accident was pretty rough.
Bro.
Here's the wild part, right? So they towed my shit. It's not drivable. Her shit's not drivable. I was sitting at a red light, minding my own fucking business. Get rear-ended. No brakes, no honk, no nothing. Smashed into my shit. I pull off like I can't. I do the best I can to kind of pull off to the side because I'm moving once she hits me. And she hits me.
Oh,
The
wow.
momentum of it has my car moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get out. I can't get the trunk open. The cops come. The cops get our information. Whatever. Both cars have to get towed. They tow both of our cars. No big deal. I talked to both insurance companies. Her insurance company, my insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, all right, well, we're gonna do an investigation. And then we'll let you know. Then we'll let you know from there.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, no problem. Well, to me, what investigation has to be done? It's pretty obvious. I was stopped at a red light and she ran into me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's pretty obvious who's liable.
Yeah.
But here's what gets me: they have my truck at the tow lot, and my tools are in my truck. So I called the day like, hey, I'm gonna come up there and get my tools out of there, and they're like, you can't get them unless you pay the bill. And I'm like, no, I'm not wanting the truck. I just want the tools out of it. She's like, yeah, you can't.
What?
Bro. I almost lost my mind.
Is that a...
I'm like, look, I'm coming up there, and I'm going to get my tools. And she's like, well, you come up here, but you can't get them. I said, all right, I'll see you soon. So I drove my ass up there, mad the whole ride.
Oh, I bet.
The whole ride,
bet.
I was mad. Got in there, and by the time I got there, I was calm, like when I walked in, but it didn't last long. So I was just like, I didn't understand,
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, someone owes a bill. I'm like, yeah, the insurance companies are going to take care of it. I didn't even call you to tow my shit. The cops did.
Yeah.
So now you have my shit. I'm not even asking for my shit.
Right.
I just want my possessions out of it. She's like, we only do that for a while to medication. I said, fine, then it's both of them. She's like, yeah, but it's not. I'm like, all right, but look, just unlock the gate and I can go back there and grab it. And she just wouldn't do it. And I'm like, you're not being a human right now. I'm like, you
Yeah.
realize that? I said, I'm a master electrician. I make blah, 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 blah. Every fucking hour I don't have my tools, you're digging into my pockets.
Yeah.
And what did I do to deserve this?
Yeah,
I was sitting
right.
at a red light with my seatbelt on and got hit. So I was just so blown away because she's like, I'm sorry, I just can't. And I said, but why can't you?
Yeah. What's...
She's like, well, there's a bill. I said, what does me grabbing my tools have to do with the bill?
Right.
The bill's still going to get paid.
It's like,
And
also, you need the tools to be able to pay the bill.
that's the thing. If I was paying it, the insurance is
Yeah,
paying it. But if I
right,
exactly though, yeah, bitch, I can't make no money because you got my tools. And then she said this as if it was like her trump card. She's like, honey, I've been doing this for 15 years.
God.
So I looked at her. I said, you've been being a cunt for 15 years.
Oh, shit.
Literally,
Nice.
you've been being a cunt for 15 years. Then, and I walked out. And she shut the door behind me because I was like, all right, fine. You know what? I'll pay for it. She's like, lot's actually closed. I'm like,
Oh,
bro,
my.
listen. I'm like, you said it says on the sign 12 o'clock. She's like, well, the lot itself closes at 11:30. We're open till 12. I'm like, what charge do I get if I go get my possession? She's like, what do you mean? I said, what are they going to legally charge me with if I go get my shit out of there? She's like, it'll be breaking and entering. She's like, you want to call them? I'm like, I'm about to call them. They might as well come out here. I might take the charge just to get my tools back. Just out of principle.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
shit,
again,
you
I'm like, what have I done wrong here?
Yeah.
What you have a key, right? I know how locks work. It's only you here. Let's walk over, unlock it. I'll grab my tools. Thank you, other human being
Yeah.
who understands other human beings' issues. I've done nothing wrong here. Why am I being penalized? I was supposed to clean out all of my thousands of dollars worth of tools out of my truck into the Uber that took me home from Owings Mills where I was when I got in the accident. It just make sense. It's just
Right.
like that arbitrary fucking administrative bullshit.
I mean,
absurd.
there could be like some weird policy where like
I
I
know
guess
there's a
they
policy.
sell your shit to like help make up for the bill you didn't pay, but like there also should be something that should differentiate you as a victim from someone who is, a deadbeat. Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
As long as I
it
prove,
doesn't make sense.
I have insurance. I have the insurance information. I have the claim
Right,
number.
exactly.
I have
For
the
that
claim
reason,
number.
I get your side. I get their side up until the point where you're like, dude, I was the fucking victim.
Yeah. Right.
What are we doing here?
And regardless of the
And I came up there
situation,
too. I'm like, I'm here. Just unlock the thing real quick. It'll 30 seconds. I got my tools.
Well, once you said cunt, all
I said
bets.
cunt at the end.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I
all
waited-
bets are off when
I
you
waited.
say cunt.
I know
No,
that.
yeah,
Trust me.
I know you do that.
Negotiations.
I know you do.
Negotiations are over
Pretty much.
when the cunt comes
Pretty
flying
much.
out.
It shouldn't though. We need to be like Britain. Like, come on, dude. Cunt's just another word. It can't be that fucking hurtful to you. What does it mean to you? If I call you a dick, you don't get offended.
Oh, people are hurt by it.
Cunt.
I mean, shit, you can't even use the word moist.
No,
I
that's
just do it on
true. We
purpose.
are a weak people, man. God damn it. I'm moist right now.
Words can't hurt you. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones and I break my
Did they stop
bones.
saying that? That must be what happened.
Did they stop? They forget the saying?
They stopped saying
They
it.
forgot it. Yeah. So what else, dude? What's going on with you? What are you looking forward to?
The wedding.
The wedding. You're getting married.
Yes, sir.
Damn. What's
September
that like?
14th.
September. Still got time to back out.
Hell no. Hell no. No, like, we got engaged. I think 2021. Probably should know that, but we first started when we first started dating. It was right when COVID happened, so our first date was canceled because all the restaurants shut down. So I ended up I got off work and I went over to her apartment and she was cooking us steaks. Didn't tell me what we were cooking or anything, and then I come in cast iron cooking some steaks. I'm like, oh, how do you like yours cooked? She's like, rare. I was like, wrap this shit up. Let's go. Put a ring on it. But
All right.
Steaks in the cast iron.
And honestly, ever since then, the longest we've ever spent apart was last weekend when she was away for her bachelorette party. Like, we shared 600 square feet of an apartment for almost 2 years. And at that point, I was like,
They make great food.
oh my God.
It's not
so
like
good.
you wouldn't think. It's not hospital food.
Yep.
It's like the Nook is a separate entity that is good,
impressive.
and then goes into, and now it has a spot in the.
And it's Lindsay had came to me in the beginning and asked if I would help them, get it started. She knew that I always kind of wanted to work at Kennedy and Hopkins because that's where my treatments were, and I ended up starting there. I think I was there for like 6 months, and I met the guy who was our business operator, and I put it in his ear that I was looking for a job, and a couple weeks later started working there. Been there ever since. So shout out to the Nook, man. Shout out to Lindsay. Love you. I'll always thank you every time I see you.
Very cool.
It's about who you meet, how you meet them, it's people you know.
And like the first day we were opened or whatever, Dorian came in and looking like a little snack, and I'm just like, at the end you ask for people's name to put it on the order or whatever, and she said her name was Dorian, and I was instantly just like intrigued. Like, it wasn't no offense, but like a Sarah or Brittany or like these everyday names that you hear all the time. So it was just intriguing, and I never really said anything. I was afraid of losing my job, truthfully. Like, I wasn't about to, I didn't want to start anything or create an issue. So I just, it was what it was. And then we first like matched on Hinge, the dating app, and then none of us said anything. And then we matched on Bumble, and none of us said anything. And you know how like you can run out of time.
She would have to at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know how you can like add that more time on there if you've ever done it. Yeah. So I added the more time, and then she ended up saying something, and we were talking for a couple.
You didn't
months.
reach out.
That was on Bumble.
No, we did. We did.
Couldn't.
So we started talking on Bumble for a little bit, and then I don't know if I got her number then or if we were just texting. I can't really remember. I think it was still on the app, but.
Damn, add the time, guys. Add the time.
We were talking for whatever, and I think she like stopped responding for like 4 to 6 months, and now that I know, she was in a real toxic relationship, and she wanted that time to work on herself before starting anything. But then 4 or 5 months later, she ended up messaging me back on there and was like, "I'm so sorry, I was taking a nap." And I was like, damn girl, you must have been really tired of 4 month nap.
Nap's pretty good there.
Dude,
that was how
I
it kept going. That. And she told me the story later. Like she always kind of like was interested, but she was in that relationship, so she didn't want to do anything. And she ended up messaging like texting her best friend, and was like, I really want to reach out. Do I tell him I was in the shower, or do I tell him I was taking a nap? And she's like, go with the nap. The shower could be sexual.
Yeah, shower's definitely sexual.
And I'm glad that she did, because I probably would have been that douchebag. I'm like, oh, you didn't invite me?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So shout out to that. Shout out to Bumble.
Shout out to Bumble. Shout out to Lindsay. Shout out to the Nook. Shout out to Dorian.
Man, that's crazy.
That's how we got here.
Dorian's an interesting name. Dorian.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
That's cool.
What do you think of?
Unlike the fruit, well, there's a fruit, but it's Durian. I think it's the smelly fruit. I want to say, I don't know, whatever. But Dorian's that's a cool name.
I agree.
Sounds old ladyish.
Oh yeah.
See, she has the story
go
when
by
she was
Dory?
at Calcutta. No, I
don't
learned that
call
quick.
that.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that ain't it. But she,
Dude, I hate when people call me Just.
yeah,
hate
why,
it.
like why?
I hate it.
We're in, but there was somewhere we were going with that. Oh, she was telling me like when she was in college, there was like this football player, this large black guy, like walking up to her, or whatever, and was like, "Yo, Dorian," and she like starts to wave, And he just like gives her this look, and apparently there's this other tall football player behind her who he was actually waving to. So Dorian's just like, okay, and, you know, just like puts her head
A
down
black
and
guy?
walks away.
Yeah, I guess it is a black guy's name, Dorian.
So that's like how she always like tells the story. But
One time I asked the people closest to me, tell me something good about me and something bad about me, and I wrote down the answers. And Sean's answers was my favorite. He said, the best thing about you is you're always down for a good time. The worst thing about you, you're always down for a good time. That was such a good answer. I'm like, damn, if that is not my gift and my curse.
Yeah.
I still have those answers written down on my phone, too.
Do you?
Yep.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They're good to go back and recheck on.
It's good to see how much I've changed, even, you know, seeing some people's, like, things that they said were good or bad, you know, being like, oh, I'm terrible now.
Yeah.
I'm way worse than that now. Or no, it's really the growth I see. But
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
yeah, how could you describe yourself in 3 words? Hate to put you on the
Empathetic.
spot.
Loving. And I feel like caring is the same way, like matches all those.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to that, like I've always been when a job interview, what's your worst quality? I care too much. But it's like the truth. Like I do care a lot,
Right.
and I do take pride in my work ethic and everything that comes with that. So I mean I think the empathy is probably my biggest one.
Yeah,
because I
that's
always
sweet.
try to put.
I mean,
people in.
yeah, you're a softie. You know, you're
Yeah.
an emo. You're an emo.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm obviously the same way. You know, I'm emo as well.
Loved rap music, so I was kind of like this like emo rap god.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not even just genre, right? Emo, like emotional. Like you're just a guy who's
Absolutely.
emotional.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So if you could telepathically say something to all 8 billion people in the world, what would it be?
Trying to see how would I put that into words.
Can I change mine from the last time we did this? So I said I was God last time. This time I want to be Jesus. And the thing is, like, everyone's wearing the fucking crucifixes. Look, come on, dude. I died on that fucking thing. Like, what are we doing here? Can we change the T's into something different?
Your telepath. Your telepathy.
Telepathy.
Your telepathy will be used to have people stop wearing crosses.
Yeah, dude. Change it up. Just like he died on that thing. What are we fucking doing?
Fair.
I think I don't know how to exactly put it into a phrase or a word, but it would go something along like, I don't want to say like respecting others, but like try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Like, you know, like everyone in this world's going through something different.
Mm.
There's a lot of reasons why some people get more than others. And if you can't understand that, then you're really kind of missing out on life. There's a lot going on, and politics is kind of ruining it all. It's just sending us in a left or right.
Did you watch
situation.
the debate?
No, but that fucking thing with Trump with the black jobs, I thought I was gonna.
Dude,
Oh my god!
all
dude.
of it was crazy.
It was.
both
It's
of them.
just insane that
It's
those
insane.
are two options.
It's insane that it's real. It's
Like,
insane that it's
they
real.
didn't say anything. All they did was talk shit about one or the other. Like, I don't know any political views of what they're actually trying to do.
No.
It's just this.
Talking points for their fans.
Bro.
That's what it is.
I missed it
Bro.
entirely, but I heard a little bit about it.
Yeah,
and the
same,
people
by the
who
way.
I thought would be Trump fans were like, I didn't hear one cohesive thought throughout this entire. And
That's so sad.
I don't know. I'm basing this off other people's opinions. Maybe we should have live streamed it and just kind of laughed at what.
Oh my
what
yeah.
god,
fuck-
that would have been.
We thought about it.
That
for
would've been a
sure.
good one. But man, God, that's crazy.
You said something about like respecting others, and it reminded me of like, you know, the golden rules, like to treat others how you treat yourself.
Yep.
how you want to be treated,
treat others how you want to be treated. Exactly, because
not
it's like
how you treat yourself.
Exactly.
That's different as fuck.
well, exactly.
That's
So,
different. As
so
fuck.
yeah, I heard someone say like, really, you should treat yourself how you treat others.
Preach. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
most people are really good at like helping others and not helping themselves. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's like they don't know why that is. They say that we're nicer to our dogs than ourselves. Like
Yeah.
I will make sure our dog finishes his medicine before we finish ours. Like if
Mm-hmm.
we get a prescription pill bottle, we're supposed to finish it. We'll like let it go. But if it's the dogs,
Or like
you
a
make
stray
sure
dog.
they get it. Yeah.
Right, like that. And I've heard that before too, and it's really true, and I'm guilty of it too. You
Yeah.
know, like it's you
Fuck
know,
yeah.
driving around in the city, you know, you see some things that you're not typically seeing around here, I guess I could say, but you know, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. Like, you know, like when I was living down in West Baltimore, where my apartment that you came to when we went to the game, like there was a kid on the corner one time, you know, like selling drinks or whatever, and I didn't have any change
That
or
was
whatever.
fentanyl, brother.
Well, it was like, like I bought a water bottle from him or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, it's $2," and I didn't have $2, so I gave him a 20, and it was just like, I'm not accepting change from this kid either, right? Like, so like, I just gave it to him, and he was like, "No, are you serious?" And you're just watching this impact of this little kid of just like something, what some people may consider something small, but the kid just went down and just stared at it, like sat on the cooler and was just staring at it. And it was like this beautiful thing. But if you've never had to been in that position, if your family's never been in that position, you'll never understand. And I still don't understand. But the fact that like maybe that little gesture could have changed something for someone, and I think it's important to think about what's happening to other people and recognizing it and truly taking for what it is, rather than just like listening to it in like a political view or maybe something that your parents thought.
Yeah.
Like, try to think for yourself for a little bit and like, how would you feel if you were in this position?
Well, that's the main thing. Is it's not how would you feel if you were in the position. It's how would you feel if you were them in the position. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because that's the thing about empathy. People go like, "Well, I would do this." Like, yeah, sure. Maybe you would,
Right.
with this perspective from where you're sitting, from the life you've had. Maybe you'd pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But in their position, that's the thing that people miss out, and and everyone's guilty of it sometimes. It's like, well, I would, someone will do someone wrong, and I'll be like, what's the matter? And they'll be like, I'm mad at Sean. He did this, and I'm like, okay, and I'll be like, I just would never do that. It's like, all right, well, he's not you.
Yeah.
It's so easy to hold these people to a standard that like, and obviously I have standards, but if you got to think as if you're them, which is tough to do.
Absolutely. I mean, that's not, it's like you said, I mean, that's a challenging thing to try to put yourself in someone else's, and then like you said, not put it in a way of like, if I was them.
You're right.
Because I think now that you just said that, I was like, oh, I'm definitely guilty of that too.
Yeah, but it's like if you're actually them in the position, and that's the thing. It's like they're just doing what they got to do a lot of the time, and it's like there's always an option, of course, right? You could just move and do this, and it's like, but if you look at the actual, your mom's dying of cancer, and you're living in the house, and your brother was killed by the guys down the street, and the only way to make money is to skip school and sell some shit so you can get your little sister diapers because your mom keeps smoking up the crack money. You know what I'm saying? That's from the distance. It's just like, it's easy to be like, well, just move to Pennsylvania and get a hard-working job. It's like, all right, well, then abandon everything you know and your family and your life, and then hopefully get back. It's just, it's just, the city thing's tough, man.
It is.
The poverty is brutal.
To watch.
And it's a poverty thing.
Yep.
I don't, poverty is what does it. It ain't,
Yeah. It is. It's hard to watch sometimes, man, and not in like a negative way, but well, I guess.
Just in general. It is hard,
tough.
man.
It's tough.
Especially for an empathetic person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you could just.
Yeah. And, Dorian's a social worker, so like, and she works for.
Oh, you guys are both sweethearts, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, she's incredible. But she's like a.
Kids are bad as fuck.
Like on the severe spectrum level.
Damn, for real?
Yeah, so she's working with
families. Brutal.
Families.
That's a brutal job, bro.
It's taxing on her, but
yeah, that's fucked up.
It's a good perspective too, and like we both are that type of person. We have a lot of empathy.
Tell her never take a kid's Switch away. Did you see that video of that the student who stomped his teacher out because she took his Nintendo Switch?
Oh
No.
yeah,
The
Jesus,
big
it was brutal,
fucking
dude.
6
Yeah,
foot something
man.
kid.
Yeah,
it was
he hit
rough.
the fuck out of her.
Basically, bottom line, tell Dorian not to take their electronics. Let
Well,
them have that.
And that's the thing. Like that's what their program does, because their program in Kennedy is one of one. So like they're able to.
It teaches them how to stomp people out, or what?
No, they manipulate the system to where like they give rewards. So if you did something good, you get your iPad for 5 minutes. You do something bad, you lose your iPad. Now they're trained to do that, obviously, and like they know how to work around it. Like I've seen 2 girls who are smaller than me yoke someone up, and like they're taught how to carry them, or like
proper
they'll have
restraint methods.
Exactly,
Yep.
protective equipment.
Because you
so-
can't
for
just
things.
fight these motherfuckers.
Exactly.
That's like, it's not ethical, obviously. And then there's,
There's that, yeah,
it's
certainly that.
unfortunately they're frowned upon to just beat these fucking kids up. So you gotta like have all these, throw them in the chokey from Matilda.
Yeah,
The
But it's-
chokey.
it's-
Jesus, nice.
but like she works with those type of like those families who are going through those type of things, and like she's able to give them kind of like this new light in life, and kind of have like these you know, it doesn't work for everybody, but you know, they have a pretty good percentage of the things that work positively rather than
Right.
negatively.
Is it a school?
No, it's like an
It's like
inpatient
a
setting.
diversion program. Oh, it's like an inpatient
so-
setting.
and,
Damn.
yeah, and they're there
So,
for
like you said,
months.
severe.
Yeah, they're like, I mean, it's crazy though, you know, like there's some families who love it, some families who don't, but the success rate is, I think, what keeps everyone wanting to go there.
I'm happy you're going to therapy.
Thank you, I appreciate that. You too.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we all need it.
Yeah,
all need it.
yeah. I hate to beat that drum, but I'm always beating it.
Yeah.
And it's funny. Sometimes I'll tell someone who's like getting intimate with me about something. I'll be like, "You should go to therapy." And sometimes if they don't know me well, they'll think it's an attack. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"But I would say that to anybody."
Right.
Like I genuinely almost think anyone should. It's
I think
like,
I agree.
I just don't think it'll hurt. And
No.
then you get, there's lots of bad therapists out there, and it's like, of course, but there's bad doctors. You don't not
Yep.
go to the doctor.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like there's bad movies. You don't not go to the movies. You don't.
Exactly.
So because
you
it's
get your
like
own opinion about it.
Yeah, and now I know there's a lot of over therapizing, especially
Oh,
in
yeah.
the youth and shit. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on there. It's true, but we can't focus on just the negative. It's like most people who go to therapy, it helps some.
And for the most part, like, unless you're one of my close friends, you know, like they don't know. You know what I mean?
You can't,
So, like,
dude. If
exactly.
Yeah, our friends will just be like, "Shut up, you're gay,"
Yeah.
or like, "High five, you got laid in middle school
Yeah.
or elementary school. Good job,
Yeah.
bro."
Going back, might have to cut that. Then, but yeah, you know, it's healthy. It's a healthy way to release. And I think I found out during Dorian and I's relationship. I blew up on something that I did, and I was so frustrated that I like threw something across the room, and it was just aggressive. It was a lot. And you know, I went upstairs, calmed myself down, and I came back down, and Dorian was like curled up in a ball, like on the corner of the couch, and like I sat down, and you know, she's on the other side of the couch, and that's not normal. So like I was just like, "Is everything okay?" And she was just so scared. And it was at that point that I was like, okay, like I can't keep doing this.
No, and I would venture, I'm making some reaches here, but taking some liberties with it. But I bet it wasn't a super conscious, like, let me pick this up and throw it. It was like a fucking,
In the
there's
moment.
something
Yep.
in you. There's like,
Exactly.
it's like you get taken over,
Mhm.
which is why I think therapy's so interesting, or figuring that stuff out's interesting, because it's like, if you're making the conscious effort to pick it up and throw it and you're with it, that's fine. But sometimes for like, if I would do that, it would be like something just took over me.
Yep.
I didn't even want to throw that fucking
Exactly.
thing.
Yep.
You
So
know?
you're already like you're mad afterwards.
Yeah.
Too. Shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, and then you
Blah,
get mad about having the reaction. So
Mhm.
instead of like seeing the reaction, then you get mad for the reaction and shame yourself for the reaction. It's like this loop.
blah. Just a cycle.
Yeah.
Shout out to therapy. They'll teach you that cycle pretty quick.
Yeah. Scare the fuck out of your girlfriend and maybe you can go.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. The person you love to be scared, even though you know she has no reason to be scared. It's just like the display
In that
was
moment.
scary and aggressive. And it's like, well.
But it's a human moment to lose control.
it
You
is.
know,
And
I have
it's
a
a-
couple distinct memories of my older brother. Like he threw a plant that was like full of soil and shit at, like not at his fucking wife or girlfriend at the time, but at a wall near her, and it did the same thing. It was just fucking scary. It was over the top.
Mhm.
But like he had his reasons. I don't remember what they were. I'm sure they were valid to him in the moment, but like obviously we calmed down.
It does sound
You
like
realize-
you're excusing it though.
Well, I'm not, but I'm excusing
I
the
do
fact
agree
that it's
it's
a
human.
human thing.
I do
you know
agree.
What I mean?
It is
like
human.
we all lose control, and at least you didn't throw it at her, and he didn't throw it at her. You know, so
Definitely,
like
definitely.
while it affected her, and I'm sure it's, I don't know. You're right. I'm excusing it, but
I mean, I do agree that it is human. It's not like
Yeah.
you're this monster.
we
I
can
100%
all,
agree.
Yeah, lose
You're not a
control.
monster, but it's like, so for the idea of the like self-growth journey for me would be to like not sit in whatever that is as long. Shorten it until it's not there. You know what I mean? Until I catch it right away. Like as soon as, see what'll happen is sometimes I'll get taken over by a defensive mechanism or a protector part of me,
Yeah.
which then uses anger or frustration because I don't want to feel sad, right?
Yep.
So as a man, that's a lot of times we just change right into mad,
Yeah.
even though we're really scared or hurt or whatever. It's like our bodies synthesize into anger, and then it's like I'll sit in that for a little while, even though logically I know I'm not mad, I'm not angry, I'm just like I'm feeling, and I don't even know what that is, but it's like we're not taught to describe how we're feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely.
like, and this whole mind body separation, we act like we're separate from our bodies. And I've had a really tough time in my recent therapy. I'm doing a specific kind called IFS, but I noticed that I intellectualize things for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons I do it is a protector part of me, so I don't have to feel it. So instead of being in my body and feeling it, I'll just get up in here and overanalyze it and intellectualize it, and then I can articulate it, but it's like I never even felt it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like to try to figure out that thing that's going on in the body, you know, because you're not just up there. There's this thing called the Cartesian theater where this like idea where we're in our head, like our consciousness is behind our eyes looking around, and you know it's not like we're the whole thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know, I'm ranting, but how long we been? We got one, we got it locked and loaded.
We should be around an hour or so.
Love it, dude. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have to get you on another time, not about cancer, and we can just chop it up about what's going on, you know. Chop it up about whatever's going on in life.
Shout out to the moms.
Shout out to the moms. What do I got going
Dads
on?
too. Let's not be a dick. Like, shout out to the parents.
Shout out to the parents.
That's a tough job, man.
Well, yeah, and
it
your dad
is.
was a cop.
Yeah, he's a homicide detective.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Baltimore City. So I mean, he's been a cop for 32 years.
Baltimore City homicide detective. So he just.
You watched The Wire?
Yeah,
You love it?
I
Good
did.
shit?
Yeah, it was good.
I need to
Yeah.
talk to him about the percentages of murders they're solving in Baltimore. It's pretty dismal.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Dude,
I
to
mean,
be
honestly,
fair, though,
any crime is.
like if it's like just a random person versus a random person, especially a drive-by, like how, I don't know. I think solving those murders sometimes is like magic, basically.
And the cop mentality is a whole other thing on top of it too. So you know, like sometimes it feels like it just is what it is, but then there's these other cases that seem a little bit more important. So that's where all the energy
Right.
goes to, or the focus, both of them.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with drug dealers and gang members. It's like there's not as much resources they're willing to put into it. It's like.
And how can you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, on where we live, like a lot of packages are getting stolen off the doors or whatever. And, you know, the Ring camera community, I kind of just fuck with them a little bit because, you know, the type of people that are on there are the type of people that are on there. It's like, buy a fucking lockbox. You know what I mean? Like, Dorian and I have one, our neighbors have one. Or, you know, don't get anything delivered. Like, don't complain about people keep stealing your packages if you're not doing or changing anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes, is it frustrating? Have we had packages
That
stolen?
comes to
Absolutely.
the thing of like they don't think it should be happening, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, well, we agree, but here we are.
But
it's,
yeah, but it is.
It's like the thing. It's like back when I was trying to like the analogy of the Monopoly board.
Mhm.
The board's fucked. We should flip this board over, but you can't. The board's stuck. So figure out to get a lockbox.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Figure out the way. I get it. We should redo the whole board, but we can't.
Exactly.
So we're on the board.
Where do you start?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, us, you can't.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Did you see the debate? I mean, that's the highest. That's the highest level of our politicians in the country. There's our representatives of the country,
Of us.
both of them.
Jeez.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That's the best option.
And it's
I
almost
just-
like I couldn't watch just because it's like I'm not even taking part in the views. I watch the clips that are getting cut up, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's either you laugh or you cry, but
Yeah.
it's sad and funny.
And what's the South Park episode?
Between a
giant
shit
giant
sandwich
shit
and a-
sandwich and a giant douche.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like,
And that was forever
You
ago.
choose
It
who
still
was
holds
who.
relevant.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That episode's old as hell.
Yeah, and it was about Hillary.
Right. And
Right,
It's the same
you know,
shit. It's this same shit.
We're on
It's
first
sad.
names basis, me and Hillary.
Hill.
Me and old Hill,
Hill.
we're doomed.
Oh shit, yeah.
Dude.
Thanks for coming, dude. I appreciate you. Have
Hey.
fun at dinner tonight. Love you too, man. If this doesn't work, I'll kill myself.